What a go on, folks? I'm me, man, Mr. B. And, of course, by now you're supposed to hear, say, the long-awaited results of the cartel appeal that has now been thrown out. And so Vybz Kartel is now scheduled to begin serving his full sentence. Remember, note the use of the terms begin serving, because prior to this, he was awaiting the completion of his legal matter, which included the appeal. And so now that the Privy Council has decided that them no need to hear the appeal. In fact, a lot of the appeal itself was brought about because the cartel legal team was of the view that there was evidence that wasn't considered in the trial. The Privy Council apparently deemed that position being presented by his attorneys as an attempt to bring new evidence into the case, which was already a decided case. And so they basically ruled against that. And keeping in mind that a big part of that argument had to do with two telephones that Kartel reported they had and were taken from him in the course of his arrest and his subsequent incarceration. So, as it now stands, Kartel will begin to serve his full sentence, and he must have brushed the full 35 before he becomes eligible for parole. Now, beneath all of that, though, it's difficult to ignore some other issues that have arisen over the time. Now, since Kartel has been in prison, he has dominated Jamaica's dancehall music chart, and to a large extent, the global dancehall music fraternity has never not heard from him. And for a number of those years that he has been in prison, he has been a top-selling dancehall artist in a prison environment that it is not legitimate for him to be making music while in a prison. This is a position that was stated by stated recently as late last year. The acting director of corrections, a young lady, in an interview with the Gleaner, made the argument that Kartel, because his sentence had not been finalized since he had been awaiting an appeal, he would not have been part of any prison rehabilitation project. She spoke to the argument too, that this making music issue is an unfinalized issue within the prison system. In other words, it's not part of the correction system. And so, essentially what she say, if I was to interpret her words, is that the making of music in a prison by a cartel and company is an illegal activity. But again, it just got to show the level of corruption in Jamaica. We talk about it, it's corruption argument has raised its head again earlier, where we say, some big name people think, but if them man they can get away with the kind of corruption where them get away with, it's not surprising that Kartel can their prison serve time for awaiting the beginning of his life sentence, and him dominating the record charts, and it don't mean nothing to nobody. It's a hypocrisy. The other thing too, if you remember, a lot of people, when them sentence Kartel, was of the view, even some of them followers, them never say him not guilty, them say, but Lizard a murderer too. And so that the fact that Lizard dead, the government should have take that into consideration and basically Lego Kartel, or if not give him no big sentence, because him do them a service. Me just a give it to you when me get back, because me go dig up my little research and listen to some of the tapes, and that was the general feedback. The other side too is a lot of people were of the view that the speed with which the system, apart from just the arrest of Kartel, the speed with which the case was disposed of was an area of concern. You remember that, you know? Them say it's concerning. And why am them saying that? Typically in a Jamaica, a murder trial take between 10 to 12 years to go through the system, you know? And so that the cartel matter, them arrest him in 2011, and by 2014 the case is over, you know, and him a brush him sentence. So that is unusual. If nobody talking about the issue of the necessity for a speedy trial and speedy delivery of justice. The argument is under normal circumstances. So it just got for sure say Jamaica where I operate backwards. But you know, as it is, cartel have to go brush him full 35 piece so him get, and before them even consider him for any kind of early release. My sense is the man them make an example out of cartel. Me not good in the argument away that the court has already decided that him guilty, but the man them basically use him as an example. Remember in 2011 when the murder go on bad down a yard, and so you know the public are raise hell and thing, and them just basically decide to use this cartel thing and use him as an example. You know, that him is a high profile man and Ray, and them not afraid to go after him and them do everything in them power to convict him. Well, they have. And the case has now stuck because the opportunity for the appeal that gone to. So him have to go brush him full 35 piece before anybody talk to him. I don't think we're gonna see cartel out the road. Well, certainly not in my lifetime. And, you know, what you think? Give me a feedback, you know, in the comment section. Let me read what I say. If you want to see the thing the way how me see it. What is said for the whole justice system in Jamaica? What it's about the whole murder thing and how we deal with and dispose of these cases. Let me get on the feedback. And of course, if you like the video, but I like it, just punch the like button. And if you're not subscribed yet to the channel, put in your subscription. You know it go. Well, try build a little thing here, and so that when the next video drop, you're among the first to know what I go on. Alright? Respect.